I could while away the hours, conferring with the flowers, consulting with the rain. And my head I'd be scratching while my thoughts were busy hatching if I only had a brain. The Wizard of Oz, released in 1939 and is directed by Victor Fleming, who's also behind such films like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, Joan of Arc, The Awakening, and Gone with the Wind. And this film, of course, is starring the ever-so-joyful and always delightful Judy Garland, Frank Morgan, Ray Bolger, Burt Lair, Jack Haley, Billy Burke, Margaret Hamilton, and Charlie Grapewind. And the reason why we're talking about The Great Wizard of Oz today is because it was a PayPal recommendation and donation from a longtime contributor and supporter of this channel. He strikes again, Dr. Camp. Thank you so much for recommending... I mean, I'll probably say it right now. I think this is the greatest film that has ever been made. It's totally different than what my favorite film is, and of course, all of you out there may disagree with that claim, but I would definitely say that this is the greatest film ever made, and how it's been able to stay relevant ever since 1939, the same year that Batman came out and debuted in Detective Comics. That's how old this movie is, and it's still in pop culture. Whether it's remakes, whether it's live productions, Broadway production, or prequel films that have come out in the last couple of years that are absolutely amazing, starring Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande. This movie, its themes, its dialogue have stood the test of time ever since 1939 when it was released. And it's not going anywhere. So I think just for longevity's sake and for its stranglehold still on pop culture, I would say, yeah, this is the greatest film ever made. So thank you very much, Dr. Camp, for the recommendation. If anyone else out there also wants to be like Dr. Camp and help support me and contribute to this channel, you can select the QR code that is in the bottom left corner of your screen right now. Send over your donation of $5 or more with your movie recommendation. And if I have access to it, I will watch it, review it, and give you a little shout out, just like what I did with Dr. Camp here. Dorothy Gale is a spoiled little brat living on a farm with her aunt and uncle in Kansas, when all of a sudden she's unable to get to the storm cellar and a tornado sucks up her house to where it is transported all the way to the wonderful magical world of Oz. But all Dorothy wants to do is make it back home to her aunt and uncle, so Glinda the Good Witch tells her to follow the yellow brick road that will take her all the way to the Emerald City where she can meet the wizard, and of course he's the wizard, so he'll be able to figure out how to get her back home. I mean, instead of Glinda telling Dorothy that she had the power to go home the entire time, just by clicking her heels together in the ruby slippers and saying there is no place like home. Oh my god, that bitch. Glinda, you forced this poor little girl, this teenage girl, to wander this road all by herself with her little tiny dog, and meets up with these three much older weirdos who decide to accompany her to the Emerald City, okay? You know what? Screw you, Glinda. That's just horseshit. I'm only kidding. It leads to a wonderful adventure of this little girl figuring out how to grow up and take charge of her life. When she starts, she is begging her aunt and uncle to solve all of her problems for her. And hell, even the farmhands are telling her how to live her life or what to do in these dire situations. But here in this movie, she figures out how to do it all herself. And I guess that's kind of the point of what Glinda was trying to teach her. If I would have told you you could have gone home in the starter, you wouldn't have believed me. Screw you, my house was sucked up in a tornado and safely landed down in the middle of Munchkin Land. I would have believed you that my shoes had magical powers. But this movie is one of those films that is for all ages. It's not too kiddish for the adults to be annoyed, and it's not too adult for the kids to be like, oh, what am I watching? I'm not understanding, or I shouldn't be seeing these images on screen. This movie is timeless, and it's for everyone, and it has universal messages. The music here, of course, is fantastic. This musical has a very special place in my heart because it's the first theatrical production outside of high school school that I took part in. It was a community theater at the Pit and Balcony Theater in Saginaw, Michigan. It was 2006, and I played the part of the Scarecrow. And it was one of the best experiences of my entire life. It got me introduced to the whole world of theater, even though because I was doing that, the university that I was going to in undergrad wanted to pull my scholarship because I wasn't devoting all of my time and energy to the shows that they were putting on. God, love that college. But this musical is so much fun, and there's not much really for me to add on top of everything that's been said about this movie, other than it really is the greatest film of all time. The music sticks with you, the messages behind each and every one of these characters sticks with you, and you hold it in your heart. Of course, people have brains, people have hearts, people have courage, you just don't know it. And tremendous songs like Somewhere Over the Rainbow, where every professional singer has done a rendition of that song somewhere in their musical career. Somewhere over the rainbow, way up high, there's a land that I heard of once in a lullaby. I will say, my experience in that musical Wizard of Oz in 2006 was a little strange because Wicked had actually just debuted on Broadway and the soundtrack came out, so me learning about what that musical was about, I figured out that, oh, well, my character, Fiyero, actually falls in love with Elphaba, who's the Wicked Witch, and is in like a love triangle between Elphaba and Glinda, and in this production, both Glinda and the Wicked Witch were like women clearly in their 40s, and I was 18. I was like, okay, this is, I mean, it's not illegal, but, you know, it's a bit predatorial. I'll say it one more time. The Wizard of Oz, greatest film ever made, and you can debate that all you want. There's really no debate with me. I would not put it on my top 10 favorite films of all time, just me personally, but if I'm thinking of the grand picture and the grand history of film and the film industry, it doesn't get better than this film. I'm going to give The Wizard of Oz 5 out of 5 Blu-rays.
I think I see blue. He looks glorious.
So guys, if you've seen The Wizard of Oz, what did you think about it? Or if you've never seen it before and you stumbled across it because of this review, how freaking awesome is that? Please comment below and let me know what you thought about it. And as always, if you like what you see here, if you like my take on movies, then hit the subscribe button and make sure you hit that bell. See you the next time I release next movie review. So guys, I will see you next time on the channel, but in the meantime, be well, be good to each other, and go watch a movie. Take care, guys.